Governor to present the Kattabomman Award 2024. The first recipient of the award is writer M. Sankaravelu. Writer M. Sankaravelu அவர்களுக்கு மாண்புமிகு ஆளுநர் அவர்கள் கட்டபொம்மன் விருது வழங்குவார்கள். Writer M. Sankaravelu, he has devoted his entire life in promoting the fame of Kattabomman. He served as the editor of the Veerapandiya Kattabomman monthly magazine for 25 consecutive years and will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Thiru R. Varadarajan, he served as the state president of the Tamil Nadu Veerapandiya Kattabomman Cultural Association and continues to promote Kattabomman's legacy, will now be presented with the Kattabomman Award 2024 by the Honorable Governor. Thiruvalasai Kannan, an esteemed industrialist, spiritual leader and a steadfast patriot, will now be presented with the Kattabomman Award by the Honorable Governor. Thiruvalasai Kannan is now being presented with the Kattabomman Award. Tirumati Veerasakkammal, the sixth generation descendant of Kattabomman, is a selfless, compassionate and passionate patriot representing the legacy of the Kattabomman family, will now be presented with the Kattabomman Award. Thiru Veerasakkammal is now being presented with the Kattabomman Award. Thiru Sugantham N.S. Ramakrishnan, a social worker and a patriot, is known for his dedication to honoring and promoting the family of freedom fighters. He'll now be presented with the Kattabomman Award by the Honorable Governor. Thank you, sir. We now humbly request the Honorable Governor to felicitate the contributors of the book. Thirupi Perumal Sami will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor for contributing immensely towards the publication of the book. Thirupi Perumal Sami is being felicitated. Thiru C. Kodandapani will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Thiru C. Kodandapani will now be felicitated. Thiru A. Alagar Sami will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Thiru A. Alagar Sami will now be felicitated. Good round of applause. They have done immense research work, which means a lot, and we have a lot of writers present among us, so they know the pains behind each research work. Thiruji Sendil. Thiruji Sendil will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Thirupi Chinnaya. Thirupi Chinnaya will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor for the dedicated research and for contributing towards the success of the book. Tirumati S. Priya, who delivered the welcome address, will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Thirupi Chinnaya is being felicitated. Following Thirupi Chinnaya, Tirumati S. Priya will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Thiru S. R. Vivekanandam. Thiru S. R. Vivekanandam will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor for his contribution to the book, The Battles of Panchalankurichi. Thiru S. R. Vivekanandam. Thiru R. Muniyaraj. Thiru R. Muniyaraj will now be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Following Thiru R. Muniyaraj, Dr. M. Kedaraj will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. M. Kedaraj and Tirumati Kirtana Raja will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Dr. M. Kedaraj will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Tirumati Kirtana Raja will be felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Ladies and gentlemen, we request all of you to give a good round of applause to all the awardees and the contributors who were felicitated by the Honorable Governor. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We now call upon Dr. S. Rajeshwari, Senior Assistant Professor, Thoothukudi Medical College Hospital, Thoothukudi, and who is also the descendant of the Veerapandiya Kattabomman, to address the gathering.
Good evening, everyone. It's my privilege to stand before you today as we celebrate the release of The Battles of Panchalankurichi, a dream work that brings all the remarkable history of our land to life. Before I start, I convey my gratitude to our Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu for making this day happen. Thank you so much, sir, for your support in creating a significant moment by releasing such a soulful work. ஒன்றா உலகத்து உயர்ந்த புகழல்லால் பொன்றாது நிற்பதொன்றில். திருவள்ளுவர் says, there is nothing that stands forth in the world imperishable except fame, exalted in solitary greatness. These words go well with the great martyr Veerapandiya Kattabomman. The name Veerapandiya Kattabomman and his fame rest on his indomitable spirit and his early resistance against colonial power. His courage, bravery, patriotism, and resistance to British forces have inspired generations and has become a lasting legacy. His courage in the face of overwhelming odds and his refusal to bow down to the British forces have immortalized Veerapandiya Kattabomman as a symbol of pride. And today, as a proud heir of Kattabomman, I am standing here and enjoying with all my heart the release of a historical book on his battles. After a lapse of 223 years, the documents of the British authorities about Panchalankurichi, ruled by Veerapandiya Kattabomman, have now been compiled into a book. What is special about this book is our author Mr. Senthil Kumar gathered the daily notes, declarations and communication documents written by the British adversaries. Through such documents, he made us know about Kattabomman's characteristic traits that is mentioned in page number 142 and 143 of this book. Also, our author aims to separate historical fact from fable and folklore that surround the warland. I also understand that this book contains a number of previously unpublished facts referred to as circumstantial evidence. It was not an easy task to track the records from British documents, but the writer diligently did it. He has undertaken years of painstaking research to create such an accurate, vibrant narrative of our history, from researching rare documents and gathering local stories to cross-referencing with historical records. The author's journey has been an arduous one. Today, we honor both the legacy of the hero and the dedication of the author who has brought his life history to us with such devotion and insight. This work will definitely be a response to many long-standing myths that cloud the real story of Kattabomman and his era. These myths have at times overshadowed the heroism and sacrifices made by our ancestors. By confronting these hurdles using authentic sources, the author has given us a clearer, more truthful view of our heritage. I thank the writer for bringing such a soulful book to the younger generation, who will definitely be enlightened and get impressed with the way our freedom fighters battled their life. My hearty congratulations to Thiru Senthil Kumar, the writer, for clearing all the hurdles and getting the book published. This is a remarkable and proud moment for all of us, and we, as his heirs, feel very happy. The name Panchalankurichi itself was removed from the map of India by the British authorities in 1803. It remained like that till 1974, when the then government built a memorial fort at Panchalankurichi and houses to live in. The Kattabomman Memorial Fort in Panchalankurichi is a place of reverence for many to honor his legacy. Also, a life-size statue was erected at Kayathar, where he was hanged, standing as a tribute. These renovations have transformed these historic sites into spaces where future generations can gather, learn, and feel pride in their heritage. All these moments made the hero Veerapandiya Kattabomman and his legacy alive. Today, we are extremely happy for the release of this book on his battles. On behalf of Kattabomman's descendants, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the leaders of our country for their unwavering support in preserving this part of our history and legacy during their regime. In closing, I thank everyone involved in making this book possible. May the battles of Panchalankurichi inspire and remind us all of the resilience, loyalty, and sacrifices that our freedom fighters faced in shaping our nation a better place to live in. I thank Mr. Sendil Kumar for bringing out this book in a grand manner. I wish him all success, and may this book keep the spirit of Veerapandiya Kattabomman alive for generations to come. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. We now request Dr. J.R. Sivaramakrishnan, Assistant Professor, Kundavai Nachiyar Government Arts College for Women, Tanjavur, to address the gathering.
பாஞ்சாலங்குறிச்சி போர்கள் என்ற நூலினை தமது திருக்கரங்களால் வெளியிடுவதற்கான விழாவினை தலைமையேற்று நடத்தி கொண்டிருக்கும் மேதகு தமிழ்நாடு ஆளுநர் அவர்களுக்கும் சிறப்புரை ஆற்ற உள்ள ஸ்ரீ ஏவி தர்மகிருஷ்ணா அண்ட் சிஇஓ தி ராம்கோ சிமெண்ட் லிமிடெட், பாஞ்சாலங்குறிச்சி போர்கள் என்ற நூலினின் ஆசிரியர் அருமை நண்பர் ஸ்ரீ செந்தில்குமார் அவர்களுக்கும் எனது நன்றியினையும் வணக்கத்தினையும் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மன் அப்படிங்கிற அந்த வீரரை பற்றி நான் சிறிய வயதில் இருக்கும்போது என்னுடைய பாட்டி அவர்கள் பார்த்தோம்னாக்க அந்த தாலாட்டாக அதை பாடுவார்கள். நான் பிறந்தது கடலூர் மாவட்டம். ஸோ அந்த வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மன் பிறந்து வாழ்ந்து வளர்ந்தது எல்லாம் பாஞ்சாலங்குறிச்சி சீமை. ஆனால் கடலூர் மாவட்டத்துக்குள்ளார அவர் எப்படி வந்தார்? நாங்கள் சிறிய வயதில் அங்கே வீட்டில் இருக்கும்போது இரவு நேரங்களில் அவங்க பாடலாக பாடுவாங்க. அதை அப்போது சிறிய வயதிலிருந்து எனக்கு அது வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மன் மீது ஒரு பற்றாடல் ஏற்பட்டது. அதற்கு பிறகு நான் கடலூரில் படிக்கின்ற பொழுது பார்த்தோம்னாக்க கலைக்கல்லூரியில் எனக்கு வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மனை பற்றி படிப்பதற்கான ஒரு அற்புதமான நூல் எனக்கு கிடைத்தது. அதாவது மாப்போ சிவஞானம் அவர்கள் எழுதிய விடுதலை போரில் தமிழகம் என்ற நூல் எனக்கு கிடைத்தது. அந்த 2 தொகுதிகளையும் நான் கொண்டு வந்து அதனை இரவு படிக்க ஆரம்பித்தேன். அந்த இரவு முழுவதும் அந்த நூலை நான் படித்து வாசித்து முடித்தேன். அப்பொழுதுதான் இந்திய தேசத்திற்கு எத்தனையோ லட்சக்கணக்கான இந்த சுதந்திர போராட்ட தியாகிகள் தன்னலம் கருதாமல் தன் தேசத்தினுடைய பற்றுக்காக தன் தேசத்தினுடைய அடிமை விலங்கை உடைப்பதற்காக இவர்கள் எப்படியெல்லாம் தன்னுடைய இரத்தத்தை மட்டும் சிந்தவில்லை, அவர்களுடைய உடைமைகளையும் உயிரையும் சிந்திருக்கிறார்கள் அப்படிங்கிற அந்த முழு வரலாறையும் தெரிந்து கொள்ள முடிந்தது. அதற்கு பிறகுதான் நான் வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மனை பற்றிய அதிகமான தேடல்களில் இருக்கின்ற பொழுதுதான் எனக்கு செந்தில்குமார் அவர்கள் எனக்கு அறிமுகமானார்கள். அப்போது செந்தில்குமார் அவர்கள் பார்த்தோம்னாக்கா, சார் இந்த மாதிரி நம்ம இருந்த வராது, நம்ம வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மனுடைய நூல்களை முழுமையாக துவக்க வேண்டும். வரலாற்றில் இருக்கக்கூடிய குறிப்பாக பார்த்தோம்னா தமிழக வரலாறும் பண்பாடும் என்ற நூலில் கே பிள்ளை அவர்கள் பார்த்தோம்னாக்கா அவர் இந்த வரலாறை நம்ம வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மனை பற்றி குறிப்பிடுகின்ற பொழுது அவர் குறிப்பிடுகின்ற அந்த செய்திகள் பார்த்தோம்னாக்க மிகவும் வருத்தத்தக்க செய்தியாக இருக்கிறது. குறிப்பாக பார்த்தோம்னாக்கா அவர் அந்த கே பிள்ளை அவர்கள் குறிப்பிடுகின்ற பொழுது அது பார்த்தோம்னாக்கா அந்த நூல் பப்ளிஷர் பார்த்தோம்னா இன்டர்நேஷனல் இன்ஸ்டியூட் ஆஃப் தமிழ் ஸ்டடீஸ் அவங்க தான் இந்த நூலை வெளியிட்டிருக்கிறார்கள். தமிழக வரலாறு மக்களும் பண்பாடும் என்ற அந்த நூலில் பார்த்தோம்னாக்கா அவர் குறிப்பிடக்கூடிய செய்திகள் பார்த்தோம்னாக்கா, கம்பெனியின் பெயரால் அவன் தன் குடிகளிடையே அதிக வரிகளை வற்புறுத்தி பெற்றான். கம்பெனிக்கு துணிகள் வழங்கி வந்த நெசவாளர்களை துன்புறுத்தினான். அவர்களுடைய உடைமைகளை கொள்ளையிட்டான். அவர்களை துன்புறுத்தி அவர்களிடமிருந்து பணம் பறித்தான். அவர்களை சாட்டையால் அடித்தான். நெசவாளர்களின் உடம்பில் அட்டைகளை விட்டு கடிக்க செய்து துன்புறுத்தினான். நெசவாளர்களுடைய கண்களில் கள்ளிப்பாலை ஊற்றினான் என்று இவர் அந்த வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மனுடைய அந்த வரலாற்றை குறிப்பிடுகின்ற பொழுது இவ்வாறு அவர் கூறிக்கொண்டு செல்கிறார். இதே புத்தகத்தில் பக்கம் 474 மற்றும் 75 இந்த கொடுங்கோல் செயல்கள் அனைத்தும் கம்பெனியின் செவிக்கு எட்டிற்று. ராமநாதபுரம் கலெக்டர் ஜாக்சன் தன்னை சந்திக்குமாறு கட்டபொம்மனுக்கு ஆணை பிறப்பித்தான். ஆணைக்கு கட்டுப்பட்டு 400 கல் தொலைவு பின்தொடர்ந்து சென்று கட்டபொம்மனுக்கு ஜாக்சன் உடைய பேட்டி கிடைக்கவில்லை. தொடர்ந்து சில கலகங்கள் நேரிட்டன. கம்பெனியின் பக்கமும் கட்டபொம்மன் பக்கமும் பலர் கொல்லப்பட்டனர். சேனை தலைவன் கிளர்க் என்பவரால் வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மன் கொல்லப்பட்டு மாண்டான். கட்டபொம்மனே அவனை கொன்றான் என்று கம்பெனி அவர் மீது குற்றம் சாட்டியது. கட்டபொம்மனுடைய தம்பி ஊமத்துரை கம்பெனியினுடைய பிடி நின்று தப்பி ஓடி பல கிராமங்களை தீயிட்டு கொளுத்தினான் என்று அவர் கூறி செல்கிறார். இப்போது இதை நம்ம இப்போ இது கல்லூரி பாட நூல் திட்டத்தில் இந்த பாடம் இருக்கிறது. ஸோ இது ஒரு மாணவர்கிட்ட நம்ம கொண்டு சேர்க்கின்ற பொழுது பார்த்தோம்னாக்கா இதில் இருக்கக்கூடிய இடர்பாடுகளை நாம் பார்க்கணும். இவ்வாறு வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மனை பற்றிய தவறான புரிதல்களை நம்ம இன்றைக்கி பார்த்தோம்னா தமிழகத்தில் பார்த்தோம்னா அதை நான் பார்க்குறோம். எந்த சுதந்திர போராட்ட வீரரும் ஜாதியின் பெயரை வைத்துக்கொண்டு போராடலை, தன்னுடைய இனத்திற்காக அவர் இனத்தை சுட்டி போராடலை. அவருடைய ஒரே குறிக்கோள் பாரத தேசம் வெற்றி பெற வேண்டும் ஆங்கிலேயருடைய அடிமையில் இருந்து. இதுதான் அவர்களுடைய ஒட்டுமொத்த குரல். தென்னகத்தில் இருந்தாலும் இந்தியா கிழக்கு மேற்கு வடக்கு தெற்கு என்று இருந்தாலும் ஒட்டுமொத்த இந்த ஆங்கிலேயருடைய அடிமை ஏகாதிபத்திய காலகட்டத்தில் இந்தியாவில் இருந்த அத்தனை சுதந்திர போராட்ட வீரர்களும் அவர்கள் ஒருமித்த கருத்தோடு ஒரே நேர்கோட்டில் அவர்கள் செயல்பட்டார்கள். அந்த நேர்கோடு எங்கிருந்து தொடங்கியது என்பதுதான் ஆய்விற்குரியது. அது பாஞ்சாலங்குறிச்சி சீமையில் இருந்து தொடங்கியது என்பதுதான் வரலாற்று உண்மை. நான் அடிக்கடி சொல்லுவேன், தென்னகத்தில் இருந்து தென்முனை இந்திய பாரத தேசத்தினுடைய தென்முனையில் இருந்து யாரெல்லாம் அரசியல் பயணத்தை தொடங்குகிறார்களோ அவர்கள் முழுமை வெற்றி பெறுவார்கள் என்று சொல்வேன். காரணம், பாஞ்சாலங்குறிச்சி சீமை நம்ம இந்தியாவுடைய தென்கோடி சீமை. தென்கோடி சீமையிலே வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மன் தொடங்கிய அந்த சுதந்திர போராட்ட எழுச்சியானது 1947 சுதந்திரம் பெறுவதற்கு காரணமாக அமைந்தது. அதுக்கு அடுத்தது பார்த்தோம்னாக்க கல்கத்தாவில் பிறந்தவர், இளைஞர்களின் எழுச்சி நாயகனாக விளங்கியவர், திகழ்ந்தவர். அவர் கன்னியாகுமரிக்கு தென்முனைக்கு இந்தியா பாரத தேசத்தின் தென்முனைக்கு வந்த பிறகுதான் அவர் விவேகானந்தராக இருந்தார். அந்த அளவிற்கு தென்னிந்தியாவிற்கும் தென்னகத்திற்கும் தென்முனைக்கும் பாரத தென்முனைக்கும் அவ்வளவு தொடர்புகள் இருக்கிறது, புனிதத்துவம் இருக்கிறது. பாரத பிரதமர் 2 முறை பாரத பிரதமராக இருந்தார். 3வது முறை அவர் தென்னகத்தில் இருந்து தன்னுடைய பிரச்சாரத்தை தொடங்கினார். 3வது முறை வெற்றி பெற்றார். எனவே தென்னிந்தியாவில் தென்மூலையில் இருந்து எது தொடங்கினாலும் அது வெற்றி பெறும். மேதகு ஆளுநர் அவர்களின் முயற்சியால் பாருங்கள், எங்களெல்லாம் கைவிட்டிருக்கலாம். இது வரைக்கும் நான்லாம் ராஜ்பவன் பக்கம் வந்தது கிடையாது. அந்த ரோட்டில் போகும்போது சாலையில் பார்த்து போவோம், ஆஹா பரவாயில்ல பிரம்மாண்டமாக இருக்கிறதுன்னு பார்த்துட்டு தான் போவேன். ஆனால் எனக்கும் ஒரு அங்கீகாரம் கிடைத்தது என்றால் மேதகு ஆளுநர் அவர்களுடைய காலகட்டத்தில் கிடைத்தது என்பது தமிழக வரலாற்றில் இது பொன்னெழுத்துக்களால் பொறிக்கப்பட வேண்டிய நாள் என்று தான் நான் கருதுவேன். நான் நினைத்ததை வெற்றி பெற்று விட்டேன். அது காரணம் வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மன் தான் காரணம். யாரெல்லாம் சுதந்திர போராட்ட வீரர்களை சுவாசிக்கிறார்களோ அத்தனை பேரும் வாழ்க்கையில் நலம் பெறுவார்கள். அதுக்கு உதாரணம் நான் இன்னைக்கு எனக்கு கிடைச்சிருக்குது என்றால் அது வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மன் தான். வரலாறை யாராலும் தொட முடியாது, அது தொட்டுட்டால் நம்மளை விடாது. வரலாறு மட்டும்தான் நம்மளுடைய உள்ளத்தை தொடும். அந்த மாதிரி வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மன் போன்ற எண்ணற்ற சுதந்திர போராட்ட வீரர்களை நாம் கைவிடக்கூடாது. அவர்களை பாடத்திட்டங்களில், குறிப்பாக பாடத்திட்டங்களில் கொண்டுட்டு போகணும். மேதகு ஆளுநரிடம் நான் வைக்கக்கூடிய ஒரே கோரிக்கை, கட்டாய பாடமாக்க வேண்டும். சுதந்திர போராட்ட வீரர்களை பற்றிய வரலாறு பாடநூல்களில் கட்டாய பாடமாக மாற்றம், யாராலையும் எடுக்கக்கூடாது. பாடத்திட்டங்கள் குழுக்கள் அமைக்கப்படுகின்ற பொழுது அங்கே வேண்டா வெறுப்பாக தான் பாடங்கள் திணிக்கப்படுகின்றன. அவைகள் ஒழிக்கப்பட வேண்டும். நான் ஒரு ஆசிரியராக இருக்கிறேன், 20 ஆண்டு காலம் உயர்கல்வியில் பணியாற்றுகிறேன். நிறைய பார்த்தோம்னா எனக்கே என்னடா இது இப்படி இருக்கு பாடத்திட்டம் என்பதுதான் நான் குறிப்பிடுவேன். காரணம் என்ன என்றால், தரமிகுந்த பாடங்களை கொடுக்கின்ற பொழுதுதான் தேசப்பற்று வளரும், நாட்டுப்பற்று வளரும், தூய்மையான தலைவர்களை நாம் உருவாக்க முடியும், எண்ணற்ற இளைஞர்களை நாம் உருவாக்க முடியும், தேசப்பற்று மிக்க ஆய்வாளர்களையும் அறிஞர்களையும் ஆராய்ச்சியாளர்களை நாம் உருவாக்க முடியும். இந்திய தேசம் பாரத பிரதமர் கூறுவது போன்று இளைஞர்கள் கையில் இருக்கிறது என்றால் அது காரணம் இது போன்ற சுதந்திர போராட்ட வீரர்களை பற்றிய தரவுகளை முழுமையாக தொகுக்கப்பட்டு அது இளைஞர்களிடம் கைகளில் செல்கின்ற பொழுதுதான் அது முழுமையாக வெற்றி பெறும். அந்த வாய்ப்பினை எங்களுக்கெல்லாம் வழங்கிய மேதகு ஆளுநர் அவர்களுக்கு மீண்டும் ஒரு முறை நன்றியினை தெரிவித்துக் கொண்டு விடைபெறுகிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Nandri Ayya. We now request Thiru A.B. Dharmakrishnan, CEO of the Ramco Cements Limited, to deliver the special address.
Respected Sri Ravi, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Sri Senthil Kumar, and other distinguished ladies and gentlemen. நான் வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மனை நினைக்கும் பொழுது 2 பேர் தான் எனக்கு ஞாபகம் வருகிறது. இன்று நான் சிறுவயதில் வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மனின் சிவாஜி கணேசன் நடித்த நடிப்பில் பார்த்தேன். அப்பொழுதுதான் வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மன் என்ற சுதந்திர போராட்ட வீரர் இந்தியாவில் இருந்தார் என்று தெரியும். அதற்கு பிறகு இன்று செந்தில்குமார் எழுதிய புக்கு படித்த பிறகுதான் வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மன் சுதந்திரத்திற்காக எவ்வளவு பாடுபட்டான், he is the first independent warrior என்ற செய்தியை இன்றுதான் தெரிந்து கொண்டேன். Mr. Sandilkumar அவர்களுக்கு மிக்க நன்றி. Just I want to tell you, sir, I came to know about Veeramandiya Kattavamman when childhood I saw a film called Veeramandiya Kattavamman acted by Swaji Ganeshan. At that time I know him, he is a warrior, he fought for English people against taxes. More than that I don't know anything. But today when I read a book written by Mr. Sandilkumar, I came to know he is the first Indian who fought against British people to get independence. முதல் சிப்பாய் கழகம் தான் இந்தியாவின் முதல் சுதந்திர போராட்ட போர் என்று நான் நினைத்து கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். அது தவறு என்று மிஸ்டர் செந்தில்குமார் அவர்கள் கிளியராக இந்த புக்கில் எடுத்துக் கொடுத்திருக்கிறார். முதல் சுதந்திர போராட்டம் ஆரம்பித்தது என்றால் என்று வீரபாண்டிய கட்டபொம்மன் ஆரம்பித்தானோ அதுதான் இந்திய சுதந்திர போராட்டத்தின் முதல் போர் என்று மிஸ்டர் செந்தில்குமார் அவர்கள் மிக கிளியராக இந்த புக்கில் கொண்டு வந்திருக்கார். அதற்கு மிக்க நன்றி மிஸ்டர் செந்தில்குமார். With a great sense of humbleness and humility, I stand before you to talk about Panchalankurichi battles of warrior Kattavamman, as admirably researched book brought out by author Mr. Sandilkumar. It is befitting tribute that the book is being released in the presence of Sri R.N. Ravi, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, the August gathering of Raj Bhavan, Chennai. See, first time I happened to attend our governor's speech at the 75th celebration of India Cements function. See, at that time, many people, many dignitaries, including our Home Minister, everybody participated in the meeting. Everybody talked generally. But the occasion is industrialization. Our governor is so knowledgeable about history and all these things. He told very clearly in the meeting, see, any industrial revolution starts with steel industry. He was asking the audience, where the steel industry first started? Nobody is able to answer. Our governor clearly told the first steel industry in India, in the world, not only India, it started in Andhra Pradesh, in India. Then Germans came here to know how the steel is being manufactured. Mr. Governor, I am very thankful to you. You brought that knowledge to everyone. We are very proud of you to bring this knowledge to you, including me. We are able to learn how the Indians are able to teach how to manufacture steel in the entire world. Ever since I got not to put down the book and started reading it, my perception of many things changed, and I am unable to count them, and I am becoming aware of most of things in the book for the first time. The author has not just written the history of the Panchalankurichi battles, but the life of Kattavamman seen from many angles. Kattavamman, in fact, was the forerunner and combining economic strategies with independent struggle ahead of Mahatma Gandhi, later resorted to against the British Raj. His economic blockade against the East India included. இன்றும் பார்க்கின்றோம், உலகத்தில் போர்கள் நடக்கின்றன, யூனியன் என்ற அமைப்பு இருக்கிறது, அமெரிக்கா என்ற பிக் பிரதர் இருக்கிறார், அவருக்கு அறுவரடியாக மெனி யூரோப்பியன் கண்ட்ரிஸ் இருக்கின்றன. அவங்களுக்கு பிடிக்காத நாடுகள் ஏதாவது சண்டை போட்டாலும் முதல்ல பண்ணுவது எக்கனாமிக் சாங்ஷன்ஸ், அதாவது ஸ்டாப்பேஜ் ஆஃப் சப்ளை ஆஃப் குட்ஸ் அண்ட் வெஜிடபிள்ஸ், மீட் எட்ஸெட்ரா டு தி இங்கிலீஷ் பீப்புள், பேனிங் வீவர்ஸ் ஃபார் ஒர்க்கிங் அண்ட் சப்ளைங் டெக்ஸ்டைல் த்ரெட்ஸ், ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்டிங் தட் பீப்புள் சுட் நாட் ஒர்க் வித் in the East India Company or in the British Army and should not resign and come out, prohibiting army or the employees of East India Company from passing through its territories. இந்த எக்கனாமிக் சாங்ஷன்ஸ் கொண்டு வந்த அந்த நாடே ஒன்று இல்லாமல் போயிடும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், ரஷ்யா யுக்ரைன் வார் வரும்பொழுது உலக நாடுகள் மெயினாக யூஎஸ்ஏவும் யூரோப்பிய நாடுகளும் ரஷ்யாவிலிருந்து ஆயில் வாங்கக்கூடாது. ஏனென்றால் ரஷ்யா இஸ் தி மேஜர் ஆயில் எக்ஸ்போர்ட்டிங் கண்ட்ரி. தி எக்கானமி ஆஃப் ஆயில் டிபெண்ட்ஸ் அப்பான் ஆயில் எக்ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ். பட் நம்ம பாரத பிரதமர் இந்தியாவின் நலன் கருதி நேரடியாக மற்ற யூரோப்பியன் நேஷன்ஸ், even though they were telling don't buy Russian oil, they used to import indirectly. But our Prime Minister openly told, no, we will buy directly oil from Russia because that will help me. When you buy indirectly, why you should not buy directly? What is wrong in it? When so many questions were put to our External Affairs Minister, Sri Dr. Jaishankar, he told, Europeans never tell truth, they'll always lie. See, that is true. See, even take for example our history. the history is distorted. See, the first our education system, people used to say, that was reformed by Lord Macaulay. What he addressed in British Parliament on 2nd February 1835. He is telling, I had travelled across the length and breadth of India. I have not seen one person who is a beggar or a thief. Such wealth I have seen in this country, such high moral values of people, such caliber, I do not think we can ever conquer this country. அதாவது இந்தியாவை நம்மளால் வெல்லவே முடியாது. ஏனென்றால் இந்த கண்ட்ரியுடைய moral values are such that இந்தியாவை நம்மளால் வெல்லவே முடியாது. But how to conquer India? Unless we break the very backbone of the innocent, which is spiritual and cultural heritage. And therefore I propose that we replace her old and ancient education system, her culture. For the Indians think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own. அதாவது நம்மளுடைய பண்பாடை முதல்ல கெடுக்க வேண்டும். நம்ம பண்பாடை பற்றி யாருக்கும் தெரியக்கூடாது. நம்ம பண்பாடு தெரியாமல் போய்விட்டால் இந்தியாவை நம்ம ஈஸியாக வெல்லலாம், அவள் அடிமையாகவே இருப்பார்கள். அதுதான் நடந்தது, ஹிஸ்ட்ரி அதுதான் நடந்தது. ஹிஸ்ட்ரியில்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நம்ம அடிமையாக இருந்தோம்னா நம்ம பண்பாடை மறந்து விட்டோம். நம்மளுடைய இந்தியனுடைய பண்பாடு கல்ச்சர் எல்லாத்தையும் மறக்கடித்து விட்டு நம்ம ஹிஸ்ட்ரியை not only during British rule, even today, even yesterday I was reading, first 12 years of our education minister is supposed to reform the education, nothing is done. Only yesterday there is news item I read. You can see the history. Since the independence, not even single attempt has been made to bring out the truth of what is India and how we got the independence. The East Indian Company quickly realized the devastating effect of the measures and Kattaboman became enemy number one. How the British conspired to crush Panchalankurichi and kill Kattaboman is the focus on this book. The painstaking efforts of the author in getting the various documents from British and collate and develop this book is admired. Even minute details don't escape his eyes. For example, when he notes the fort was strengthened with double walls with a mixture of clay, lime, egg and sweet toddy, he also observes the gap between these two walls were filled with hay, husk, reed, etc. Even cannon cannot break this arrangement and would get caught in it. I remember the lines of great poet Abhayar, வெட்டனவை மெத்தனவை எல்லாம் வேளத்தில் பட்டு உருங்குவேல் பஞ்சில் பாயாது. That is, the arrow which pierces the strong elephant gets entangled when it uncovers short-cut bags. This shows that unique native knowledge of Kattaboman in war strategies. Unfortunately, the fort was completely destroyed by the British and even removed the name Panchalankurichi from the government documents. When the name was removed from the government records, there is a place called Panchalankurichi. To that extent, our history was distorted, which show how the great Kattaboman was. The clash was known as the one in which maximum number of British soldiers were lost in a single battle. The author makes a great case for this battle to be really considered as first war of independence against British Raj, which is the general belief of the people. Sepoy mutiny, or the Sepoy Kalaham, was the first war of independence. அதாவது நம்ம கட்டபொம்மனுடைய வார் எகென்ஸ்ட் தி பிரிட்டிஷ் தான் முதல் சுதந்திர போர். இட் இஸ் நாட் செப்பாய் மியூட்டினி அங்கிறதை ரொம்ப கிளியராக இந்த ஆதர் கொண்டு வந்திருக்கிறார். தி ஆதர் பிரிங்ஸ் தட் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் அனெக்டோட் ஆஃப் தி எக்கனாமிக் பிளாக்கேட் இம்போஸ்ட் பை வீரவந்திய கட்டபொம்மன் எகென்ஸ்ட் தி பிரிட்டிஷ் கம்பெனி. Its effect was felt not just in Panchalankurichi but reverberated that throughout England and Europe. The author points out that the share price of East Indian Company touched the rock bottom during that period, drawing a parallel to the war. See, even now we have seen இன்று இஸ்ரேல் லெபனான் மீது ஒரு குண்டு போட்டாலோ ஆர் ஈரான் இஸ்ரேல் மேல் குண்டு போட்டாலோ நம்ம ஸ்டாக் மார்க்கெட் வீழ்ச்சி ஆகிறது. அது நடந்தது ஈவன் 1700 when Kattaboman fought against British people. East Indian Company, which was listed in London stock market, fell by more than 20%. Thank you, sir. You brought out nice chart in your book. Thank you very much. For every average person, history was what they read in school textbooks. This is because the Indian academic historians do not write for public. The many well-researched writings end up in college classrooms and academic libraries. The efforts of Mr. Senthil Kumar on throwing light of Panchalankurichi War is notable exception to this trend. A country will have no savior if its history is not read by people of all. Because of rich traditions and sacrifices to become what is today will be lost in the public memory. I will greatly commend Mr. Senthil Kumar for this purpose. We should support, encourage historians like this author. We hold a torch on many forgotten aspects of great civilization. People like him also show the other side of the history which has been concealed and distorted. At this juncture, I also wish to record our thanks to Mr. Venkatrama Raja, our chairman, Ramco Group of Companies, and Mr. Sugantan, Mr. Ramakrishna Raja and his family, and others who had role to play in bringing out this book. And outside, I'll also thank the Tamil Nadu governor who visits every college in Tamil Nadu. He is the governor who might have visited the maximum number of colleges during the 5 years period. I have industrial experience of more than 40 years. I happen to come to this place, many places. The governor maximum come out to go to Ooty or Kodaikanal. I have not seen a governor because you have come to our place itself. You come to my college where I studied, my pre-university, gave excellent speech of including economic data of what is GDP, how many percentage of GDP is allocated for youth education, how the people should take advantage of that. I studied in Rajabhan Raju's college for 50th 50th anniversary. You have come to that college. I gave a wonderful speech. Still I have in my CD this excellent speech, sir. And Tamil Nadu மக்கள் இதே போல கவர்னரை வந்ததற்கு நம்ம கொடுத்து வைத்திருக்க வேண்டும். இந்த தமிழ்நாடு கவர்னர் அவர்கள் நூடுடி வாழி நம்ம நாட்டிற்கு நல்லதை செய்ய வேண்டும் என்று கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Thank you, sir. We now humbly request the Honorable Governor to address the gathering.
Thiru A.V. Dharm Krishnan, Thiru P. Senthil Kumar, the author of the book, Dr. S. Rajeshwari, Dr. J.R. Sivaram Krishnan, all the dignitaries whom I had the privilege to felicitate today, other distinguished invitees present here, friends from the media, Anaivarkum Vanakkam. In fact, my association with this book, it happened to be to me it appeared it was a coincidence. About 2 years back, when I visited Madurai, this book landed in my hand. And when I read this book, I was so much impressed that when I decided that we should dig up the history of our unsung freedom fighters, because when I came in 2021 and I asked the state government to give me the list of freedom fighters from the state of Tamil Nadu, the list I got was hardly just about nearly 30 names. And I was surprised, how could it only be 30? The country, for any part, the place before that I was in Nagaland, there were hundreds and hundreds of freedom fighters in Nagaland. In fact, not hundreds, but thousands. How could in Tamil Nadu only be around 30 or not? So I was not convinced. So I asked the university to dig up unsung freedom fighters, prepare the list, and to begin an exercise of pick up at least 100 unsung freedom fighters and let us write their history, what they did. to begin with. When I had asked that, in between this book landed in my hand. And I was so impressed that I showed this book to all the researchers that this is how research should be. How meticulous, how diligently, how factual, going into the records, taking the diaries, documents. Nothing in this book is conjectural or imaginary. Everything is based on document. I was deeply impressed. So you showed this book to my research scholars, 100 research scholars, that this is how the research should be. I was under the impression that Senthil Kumar must be a professor, a historian, a person who has done a lot of work. I was under also impression that this book is already known to people in the universities and all. So while sought for him, I say, where is Senthil Kumar? I would like to meet him. I met him and I found a very simple person like any of us. He is not a professor. He is not a historian. But commitment, the commitment and hard work. I say, look, this book deserves to be considered for a PhD thesis. Senthil, I'm saying I have read hundreds of PhD theses here, I tell you. Many of them are very mediocre, very, very substandard. Here is a book that deserves to be appreciated. And the author has to be appreciated. And then he told me, no, he has not published the book as yet. And he is thinking of publishing it. I say, look, you please do it. And not only in English, his original one was in English. It should be in Tamil. And let the people of the country, North, also know what it is. So it should be in Hindi also. So he gave me more copy. I sent the book to the Lucknow University Vice Chancellor and got it Hindi done. Tamil he managed, he got it Tamil translation done. And the book is almost about 600 pages, a little less than 600 pages, voluminous book, but all full of facts. It's a remarkable work which should be an envy of many research scholars, professional research scholars. I wish they do this kind of work. So, Senthil Kumar, I like to thank you. Thank you for this. I express my sense of gratitude that you have done this work. A great work. Friends, why do we read history? And how this book is important? This book is important because it gives us the sense who we are. Who we are, it is linked with how our ancestors were. If our ancestors were weak, our ancestors were, not brave, it gives a sense of inferiority. What the British did, which is briefly mentioned by Thiru Dharmkrishnan, that how they decided to change the education system and kill the sense of self-pride of Indians. Kill the sense of self-pride of Indians. And long before Macaulay came, they had commissioned one person, one pastor, James Mill, Those of you who have studied political science, you must have read and heard about John Stuart Mill. John Stuart Mill is considered a political thought leader, political theorist. James Mill was his father. He was asked to write a history of India. And this man did not visit India. But 1801, by the time the Battle of Panchalankurichi was over, and the first decade of 19th century, 1801 to 1810, during that time, he wrote 5 volumes of history of India. He wrote a history of India without visiting India. And in which all through the book he has said, Indians are cowards. Indians are worthy to be slave. Indians are impotent. These are the languages, these are the words he has used about Indians. Deliberately. This man was not a historian at all, he was a pastor. He was doing sermon in the church. But he wrote the book on the history of India. And that too 5 volumes, not 1 volume. 5 volumes, history of India. And that book subsequently was brought in India when the British education system started, and they introduced that book as a reference book, History of India. And we started reading that history of India. Indians are cowards, Indians are worthy to be slave. And this book, that history became the reference book for all the British civil servants of the company, and later when the British government took over, British government. Because when they started ICS, Imperial Civil Service, British used to recruit and send India to administer. For them, this was introduction book. They were the book through that they knew India before coming to India. There was a test before they had to pass a test there, and in that they had this book was the reference. So, entire atmosphere was created where British civil servant coming to India, they were told that Indians are cowards, Indians are worthy to be slaved, not enterprising, very weak. And Indians in our own colleges and schools, run by them, we were taught the same history. This is how everything about India is bad. And everything about British, European is good. So they tried to kill our sense of pride, who we are. And they succeeded. They succeeded to a great extent. Because over the generations, people have started believing in that. Because only when you read those books, you pass and you get the degree. When you get the degree, you get a job. Because everybody looking for a job, they had killed our industry, they had killed our education system, our industry, everything. And even our agriculture was badly damaged. So our people were made dependent on working as a servant for the company, East India Company, and then for the British government. And to get the job, you have to have the degree. To get the degree, you have to pass, you have to read these books. So this indoctrination. And even today we are not free from this. Even in this land today, here in our state, there are people who praise the British so much. I don't know how many of you are aware, because when as a chancellor, as a governor, I am chancellor of my state universities. So I'll ask for the syllabus, college, history, political science, and literature. In 3 subjects, I wanted to know what is the syllabus in BA and MA. graduation and post-graduation. And you know, even today in our universities, our colleges, 19th century history of this place, Tamil Nadu, is full of British praise of the British, even today. No mention of Kattabomman, no mention of Maruti brothers, no mention of any of these freedom fighters. British, what great job they did. And 20th century, because the 200 years of history, 20th century, all Dravid movement, Dravid leaders. No mention of freedom movement, no mention of all those people who did contributed. So, even today, our students are being taught that British were great. That means we deserve to be enslaved, and it was our fault. British did a good thing by colonizing us. I think this is something which is shameful. And when I got the list of just about a small number of freedom fighters, and I was wondering how could it be, and then I found that thousands and thousands of people from this land, they have fought, they have given their life for the freedom of this country. I don't know how many of you are aware, because when I was visiting places in our state, I found a number of places, a number of people, admirer of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Then I found, look, there are not many people who are admirer of Subhash Chandra Bose, Netaji. When I started digging more, then I got to know there are large number of people from Tamil Nadu, large number of youth from Tamil Nadu, who had gone from here to Malaysia, Burma, and joined Indian National Army of Netaji and fought against the British. You know, we commissioned a study. How many? Let us identify how many of them. We have already crossed more than 4,700. Our estimate is it will be much more than 6,000, but at least so far, more than 4,700 young people from Tamil Nadu went from here. Many of them, they died fighting the British. Imagine. We all know that in 19th century, British took more than 1 million of our people, more than 10 lakhs of our people as slaves, indentured laborers, to Malaysia, to Burma, Sri Lanka, Fiji, Mauritius, to work in their field as a laborer. Because it was not a mechanized age. There was no industrial revolution at the time. It was coming up, industrial revolution. So they needed manual labor. So they, by inducement, deceit, or by force, they took more than 10 lakhs of our people as slaves, as indentured labor, to all these colonies to work for them. In 19th century. They did the similar thing for taking from the central India, from Bihar, Jharkhand and Odisha area. They took about more than 500,000 people to Assam to work in their tea garden. They also took them as slaves. There is no history of that. In the textbook that we teach our students, 19th century was a great period. The British came and they gave us a sense of social justice. This is what is being taught today. Now, friends, a nation, a society that forgets its heroes and martyrs, those who gave their life for the freedom of this country, those who gave their life defending the freedom of this country, both. Kattabomman gave life defending the freedom. There were others who fought to get the freedom. If we forget, any nation and society that forgets its heroes and martyrs has no future. That society is ungrateful. And an ungrateful society, ungrateful people can never have a great future. We cannot afford to forget great warriors, great martyrs like Veer Pandya Kattabomman. And hundreds of people, those who gave their, thousands of people who gave their lives under their command fighting the British. And you read his book, British themselves were afraid. They have recorded how deadly this warrior was. In guerrilla warfare, he was outwitting the British. British could not match. Different types of warfare. In fact, the reason why I said that it should be translated in Hindi also, because many people in the sad part of it is the history of our national freedom, the true history of our national freedom is yet to be written. An impression has been given that we got the freedom just by hunger strike or by fasting. No. Thousands and thousands of people have given their life and blood for the freedom of this country. Because if it has only got through peaceful means of fasting and demanding, then those who gave their life, and not 1 or 2 lakhs of people, in every part of the country, who were they? Who was Veer Pandya Kattabomman? Who were Maruti brothers? Who were Tirupur Kumaran? Who were all these people? So many of them. Those who gave their life, ultimate sacrifice. No. Our history of our national freedom movement is yet to be written. And this is a fraud that we have committed on our people by not making a genuine effort in writing the true history of independence. And so, I wanted this book to be written in Hindi as well and other Indian languages, so that the rest of the country should also know. This morning, I attended a function. In that function, one of the speakers mentioned that the first war of Indian independence, 1857. I corrected him. I said, I don't blame you because you are not aware of it. Because we have not told our people what wars we fought. I said, look, if at all there is a first war of India's independence, it was Battle of Panchalankurichi. The battle that went on for almost 8-9 years. It was not a battle. 1857 it lasted just hardly for about less than 2 years. It was a great war. There's no doubt about it. Many people suffered, perished. We give all respect to all those people, those who fought in 1857. We pay our respect, we bow to them. But the fact is, the first war of India's independence was Battle of Panchalankurichi, which concluded in 1801. It was that battle that decided the fate of South India, when the British could consolidate their position and establish themselves. That was the time after Battle of Panchalankurichi. that they took over, they took over the whole area. Even Marathas who were there from at Tanjavur, they were made to vacate. It was a decisive war. And if our countrymen and women are not aware of this battle, then I think we are not aware of our past, we are not aware of our forefathers. And we are not aware of the fact that we are the descendants of such great people. We need to write our history of national freedom movement more diligently and bring up all those people, those who are now being forgotten. This book, Senthil Kumarji has written based on documents. But I also like to urge, not only him, because of course he has done a great painstaking work, but even to others, that history is not only what the British record shows. When we talk about fables and folk tales and folklores and folk songs, they are equally important part of history. You know, at the time when we were colonized, all the powers were with British. Who will write our history? Who could write? Only they had the power, they could write the way they wanted. So our people, our ancestors, kept alive that history, the memory, through folk songs, through stories, through fables. So let us not undermine the importance and significance of folk tales, folklores, and fables. Because this was our way of preserving the history. It's very much a part of our history. You know, when I was Nagaland governor, and when I had visited one of the villages, because in Nagaland, you know, it is a village-centric state. Each village has its own rules, governance, run by the village chief. And I found that a large number of village chiefs were more than 100 years old. Very many, pretty old, very healthy people. So I started felicitating these old people, going to their villages and having a function. Look, here is a person now, 50, 60, 40-year person, looks diabetes, all the problems, hypertension. And here is a person 100 years plus, and he is healthy, going to the farm, working. So as to encourage other youngsters, look, this is the way to live. Here is a person among you who has lived more than 100 years and is still living here. So during that course, I visited one village. Ruzazo is the name of the village. When I visited the village headman, the chief was 105 years old. Very strong, working, doing every day, going to the field, farm, doing the work. So after the public function, he took me to his house. I went to his house for a cup of tea. I was sitting in his drawing room. And then I found in a corner a Netaji cutout of Netaji with a garland. I was curious. I asked him, it seems you are a great admirer of Netaji. And that old gentleman was furious with me. He says, you people have forgotten him. We have not. I am chief because I was appointed by Netaji in 1944. And then I stayed in his house for the night, and evening there was a function. And the village ladies, they sang folk songs in praise of Netaji. Folk songs. You know, someone gets into the folk is not easy. It gets into the heart of the community. So I would like a research work to collect all the folk songs, fables about Veer Pandya Kattabomman. We will respect, we will release the book. We have a great function here as well. Because what the victors, what the British had written is one part of it. But what our people, our generations have kept the memory alive, that is not less important, it is more important. So let us, I think, Senthil Kumarji, your project is not yet over. So we should, if you think appropriate, you are young and dynamic, you should take up. And if any assistance is needed, I am always there. Collect it. Have the folk tales. All these folk tales and folklores of our freedom fighters, our martyrs, we should collect before they get lost. Because conscious attempts are made to erase them from the public memory. You know, playing with memory is a power game. If you erase the memory, the person becomes helpless. British succeeded in convincing us that we are weak and coward. We are incompetent. British are superior. Because they erased the memory of our great forefathers. Let us revive that. We are not what the British told us who we were, but we are descendants of our great people, our great ancestors. It will be honor to our ancestors and it will be pride for us. That will give us a sense of pride. And with that pride, not only that we say our thank you and pay our gratitude to our ancestors, those who suffered, those who gave life, but also that will inspire us to face the greater challenges in future. And I'm sure we'll do that. This land, Tamil Nadu, has produced large number of intellectual leaders, warriors, poets, saints, philosophers. It's a land. I don't think any part of the country can boast, can claim to have as many in every field of human endeavor. So great people. It makes me feel very sad when I find some intellectual trying to write a book and thesis, Thiruvalluvar and Shakespeare. Who was Shakespeare? He came 2000 years after Thiruvalluvar. Is it worthy of comparison? No. We must overcome that. We must rediscover our past, rediscover our glories. That will give us the sense of who we are, and that will give us the energy and drive to move forward with confidence and make this country a great country that we are doing it today. Now at the national level, efforts are on. Prime Minister is doing to rewrite the history of freedom movement, true history of freedom movement, by discovering the unsung freedom fighters. At our level, we must do it wherever we are. For this event, I once again thank, and I wish this book to be more and more circulated. I would urge all the schools and colleges, universities to have this book. Prescribe this book as a reference book for our students, and it should also be a book for all the think tanks, research institutions, wherever they are. It should be widely discussed and debated. And I think as far as universities are concerned, we will see, I will ensure that this book becomes a subject of book talks in every college in coming months. I will ensure that. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. We now request Tirumati M. Sujata, Principal, DAV Public School, Velachery, to propose the word of thanks.
Good evening, esteemed guests, dignitaries and friends. First, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, for gracing us with his presence and for his inspiring address. I am honored to be given this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks on this momentous occasion, and I feel specially privileged because this is the same venue where I was fortunate to have received the Best Teachers Award from the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu on Teachers' Day this year on September 5th, 2024. And thank you, Honorable Governor. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Thiru Sendil Kumar, the author, for sharing insights about his remarkable book titled The Battles of Panchalankurichi, the historical traces of Panchalankurichi from British documents. A special thanks to Thiru A.V. Dharmakrishnan, CEO of the Ramco Cements Private Limited, for receiving copies of the book and delivering his special address today. My heartiest congratulations to all the recipients of the prestigious Kattabomman Award and also the contributors of the book who received the felicitation from the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu today. My gratitude also goes to Tirumadi S. Priya, Assistant Professor of V.O. Chidambaram College, Thuthukudi, for her warm welcome address, and to Dr. S. Rajeshwari, Senior Assistant Professor, Thuthukudi Medical College Hospital, and Dr. J.R. Sivaramakrishnan, Assistant Professor, Kundavai Nachiyar Government Arts College for Women, Tanjavur, for the enlightening felicitation address. I take this opportunity to also thank Thiru N.S. Ramakrishnan, owner of Sugandham Oil Mills Private Limited, Rajapalayam, who played a very important role and worked hard alongside the author Thiru P. Sendil Kumar to help in the publication of these remarkable books in English, Tamil and Hindi called The Battles of Panchalankurichi. I would like to thank Thiru R. Varadarajan, ex-MLA Virudhunagar, and Thiru Shankaravel from Virudhunagar for gracing this occasion of today's book release. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the press, all the participants who contributed to various programs today, the staff of the Governor's House, and special thanks to the audience, especially the book lovers of historical research and supporters of literature, for being here today and adding to the significance of this occasion. I would like to acknowledge everyone involved in the planning and execution of this program, the organizers, the volunteers and staff whose hard work and dedication ensured that everything went on smoothly. Thank you all for making this event a grand success. Jai Hind.
Ladies and gentlemen, we request all of you to rise up for the national anthem.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा